On Klay Thompson's emotional return to the Bay Area, it was the battle of the Splash Brothers as the Warriors won a down-to-the-wire game against the Mavs. I want to break down Steph Curry's spectacular performance with 37 points and 5 threes, especially his mini solo 10-0 run in the clutch by targeting Luka Dončić and the Dallas big man on pick and rolls and switches. So let's break it down. Golden State's first play involves a common back screen on Dončić to try and free up Andrew Wiggins under the basket for a layup. But when Dallas does not switch and instead plays straight up, this react offense leads to a secondary action. Draymond Green has the ball in the mid-range, directing traffic, and the way to beat non-off-ball switching defenses is to set infinite screens. After that initial pick, Steph now has a couple steps ahead of the bigger but slower Marshall, where he sprints and curls around the second Jackson Davis screen. Again, the Mavs are playing straight up, so Curry knows he's able to catch a screen defender in big man Daniel Gafford in a predictable drop coverage and gets wide open. Even with a late contest from Klay, Curry makes this in his sleep. Steph Curry's the GOAT shooter, but when you involve him in pick and roll actions to bring traditional big man to play, it's extremely hard on the defense. Big men who are slow-footed and used to protecting the paint have to now come out to the perimeter to contest a possible shot or risk getting blown by. Players like Steph were extremely rare prior to a decade ago, leading to extinction of guys like, for example, Kendrick Perkins. When Draymond is put on the opposing big man and comes to set a drag screen, Dallas plays with fire by having the on-ball defender in Grimes go under the screen not only once, but twice. The reason is because he wanted to avoid the switch on Lively at all costs, but he himself gets stuck on the second re-screen. Now Lively is caught in a drop coverage, and Steph simply steps back and shoots an uncontested 3-ball. Dallas put the longer Dinwiddie on Curry, and now the Warriors want to attack Luka Dončić in the pick and roll. Kuminga comes for the high screen and Steph reads the coverage. He sees Dinwiddie fighting over, while Luka is not trapping but instead in a show. There are a couple ways of countering this. One is passing to Roman and JK, but here Steph runs a get action in which he throws the ball first to Kevon Looney, then immediately chases the ball. Derek Lively actually knows the play well because he drops down to prevent that pass to the cutting Kuminga, but the get action leads to a secondary handoff, which also acts as a pick. Steph Curry now knows Dinwiddie gets caught, and as he turns the screen, Dallas continues to play this well when Hardy leaves a non-shooter in the strong side corner to stunt, and Lively begins to close out. This is still wide open to Steph, but I'm sure Dallas will live with long mid-range jumpers instead. Looney sets a super high pick and roll near the logo, and this time Grimes goes over, but the Mavs have to switch. Now Steph likes what he sees in the matchup. Not much of a breakdown here, but Curry is able to dance around and pull up from 18 the second he realizes he can get a quick release off. It's about knowing your personnel in Derek Lively. This simple play in the third quarter is a sign of what's to come. Andrew Wiggins first comes for the on-ball pick to get Luka involved, and the Mavs switch. Golden State then immediately has TJD come for the second screen to get a big man involved, but right at this point Steph sees that Derek Lively is too low already in a drop coverage. Big mistake, and it's a rhythm dribble with his left to get aligned for a pull-up 3. Simple offense to pick the mismatches. Now let's see how Steph counters the Mavs when they do defend the pick and roll well. On-ball screen by Wiggins again, and Luka switches. Same action to get Jackson Davis up for the second pick, and Derek Lively is ready now and immediately comes up high to switch to prevent the pull-up 3. We know Luka is a lazy defender, so now TJD has a step on this roll to the rim. Simple dump-off pass to the short roll to force Dallas into rotations. Grimes makes the correct rotation as the weak side low man and actually gets a good contest here, but TJD is just too big and finishes. Clutch time is where the Warriors spam the pick and roll to abuse Luka Dončić and the other Dallas big men. Exact same play as we saw a couple times in the third quarter. Wiggins brings Luka up on the screen and we get a first mismatch. Now, instead of TJD, Draymond Green is the one closing the game and brings a second pick. A couple of crossovers and Steph realizes, just like Lively in the first example, Daniel Gafford is just way too low in this drop coverage to the best shooter of all time. That's just reading what the defense gives you, and Curry pulls up from 25. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Another Wiggins pick and roll and we get Dončić to switch. Luka probably hates his life being on an island against Steph, and now Draymond comes for the second pick as we've seen multiple times already in this breakdown. However, Curry sees Lively learn from those previous mistakes and actually comes up super high, so he counters this by catching Luka off guard and rejecting the pick to go to his strong right hand. This is the worst outcome in my opinion, as the on-ball defender just cannot allow this to happen. Klay Thompson stunts from the strong side, but he's not going to come off a shooter, and Grimes also does rotate as the weak side low man, but not before Steph is already too wide open for a nasty finger roll. Way to read the coverage again, Steph. For the night-night celebration, let's put Luka and the big man one last time in a pick and roll with Draymond Green. Lively is already super high and prevents the pull-up first, but the problem with switching in today's NBA is that it allows players who are extremely talented in isolation to abuse mismatches. It's not sustainable for an entire game, obviously, but if you're trying to go for the kill, you want the ball in your hands of the best player against a weak defender. Not much breakdown as Curry dances enough to get Lively off balance and pulls up the second he has daylight. That's just GOAT stuff right there, and it's another night-night. There you guys have it. On Klay Thompson's return to San Francisco, his other Splash brother spoils the party by having a second straight great game with 37 points and a comeback run by himself in the clutch. Steph capitalized on multiple opportunities to bring weak defenders like Luka Dončić and slow-footed big man in the pick and roll in order to get quality looks off on drop coverages or mismatches. Since Dallas did not really adjust, the Warriors repetitively ran the same play and allowed Steph to get hot at the right moment, getting a huge win in the first game of the NBA tournament. It was extremely emotional for me to welcome Klay back, who also had a huge game, but I loved the competitive atmosphere overall. Shout out to Draymond for also making key plays down the stretch too. If you guys like this breakdown, like and subscribe to see more.